Hi guys, my name is Sabarish and I'm a final year CSC student from SRM University. So I'm currently studying for AWS Cloud Practitioner exam, and I'm trying to show all my notes here so that I will be able to note down all the points that I learn, and also will be able to create videos so that I'll be able to upload it on YouTube. And I think this might enhance my learning skills. It's kind of like what Feynman technique defines. And so let's start. So AWS Cloud Practitioner exam is usually written by many people around the world to become it's like an entry point towards cloud services. And for any domains that includes like machine learning or web development, at the end you'll have to know cloud and cloud services so that you'll be able to deploy it in the cloud and access it. And so for the exam, let's see what all to learn. And the things you can learn from AWS Cloud Practitioner exam are AWS architecture principles, the value of AWS cloud, AWS services and applications, underlying security and compliance, and then share responsibility model for security. The questions in the exam will be from 4 domains, and they are cloud concepts, which covers up to 24% of the exam, security and compliance for 30%, cloud technology and services for 34%, and then there is billing, pricing and support for 12%. These are all the basics for exam. And if you consider this is the first exam out of the series of exams that are present. So this is the foundational exam, and if you want to proceed on to a path of being a solutions architect or a cloud engineer or a machine learning engineer, you'll have to write some more exam for that. But this is the foundational exam, and the exam is of 90 minutes with 65 MCQs, and the passing mark for that is 700 out of 1000. So let's start. What is cloud computing? Cloud computing is the practice of using remote servers that are hosted on the internet to store, manage and process data rather than on a local server or a personal computer. When you are starting a company and you want to store all the data of users, you'll have to choose a server. You have to buy a server and then store all the data in that. And if you get a lot of users, you'll have to buy another server and store all the data. So this is a tedious process for many local businesses and even for large companies. So what they prefer is they will try to use remote servers that are present elsewhere, and try to use the servers in the cloud. So that is what cloud basically means. And AWS is a cloud service provider which provides on-demand delivery of IT resources and applications through the internet with pay-as-you-go pricing. So pay-as-you-go pricing here means that you will have to pay for a service that you are using and not for other services that is linked with AWS. So you'll just, if you are using a EC2 service or an S3 bucket service, then you will just have to pay for that and not for the other services that are provided by AWS. Let's start with the evolution of cloud hosting. So there are 4 evolutions that happen one after another. And for the first one, it is dedicated server. As the name suggests, it is dedicated for a single business. And so from the diagram here, you can see that a single user uses a single physical machine for a single business, and the physical machine here represents the server. It proved to be expensive and maintenance is required, but it proved that it is highly secure, and this is because you are the one who will be able to access the server and not anyone else. So you will have the control in your hand. The next one is virtual private server, VPS. So this is the place where everything started to change, where a single user uses a single physical machine for a single business, but the server is virtualized into various submissions. So this means that instead of using a single server, you'll be using a lot of servers. That can be helpful for creating web applications and running multiple web applications or sites. And the advantage here is that it utilizes the resources in a better way, and isolation of resources occur. The third one is shared hosting. Here a lot of users are able to use the server to run multiple websites or web apps, and as here it says, one physical machine shared by hundreds of businesses, and a lot of users can use that. It proved to be very cheap and limited functionality, and it has poor isolation, which is a disadvantage here. The next one is cloud hosting, which is currently used by all major companies. Here, multiple users are able to use multiple servers which are present in the cloud. That is, they don't have it in their own locality. They have it somewhere remotely, and they'll be able to access that to run multiple businesses. So, multiple physical machines act as one system. So, this one proved to be flexible, scalable, secure, cost effective, and high configurability. So, flexible here refers to how they are able to use it from a location that is remotely far away, and scalable here represents how they can be able to increase the number of servers or decrease the number of servers based on their need. Security, even though it is remotely present and it's in the cloud, they have maximum security. Cost effective, the cost is reduced, and high configurability provide companies or the developers opportunity to configure the servers or what is being displayed by them and not by the cloud service provider. Next, let's see some abbreviations here. These are pretty important and will be later covered in the next videos. The first is a cloud service provider, CSP. The next is SQS, which is simple queue service. Next is S3, that is simple storage service. And then after that it is ECC, elastic compute cloud, EC2. Many companies use this EC2 instance to store, network, and compute resources from AWS. And next we move on to the common cloud services. So these are the services that are provided by a cloud service provider. So they provide compute functionality, where virtual computer that can run applications, programs, and code. Next is networking, where virtual network defining internet connections or network isolations between the services or outbound to the internet And the next is storage, virtual hard drive that can store files. Databases, virtual database for storing, reporting data, or database for general purpose web application. So these are all the services provided by a cloud service provider. And for example, if you can see here, EC2 virtual machine is used for compute. For storage, EPS virtual hard drive is used. For database, RDS, that is relational database system, SQL databases. And for networking, it is VPC, private cloud network. And if we move on to cloud service provider, they are organization that offers cloud computing services. Apart from AWS, there is Microsoft Azure cloud, Google Cloud, etc. Now there are 4 types of services that are provided by the cloud service providers, and they are infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, and function as a service. So I don't write any notes for function as a service, but if you go on to infrastructure as a service, they provide network, storage, and virtual server. An example is AWS, which provides the required infrastructure. And the next is platform as a service, where you are allowed to build, deploy, and scale applications. Microsoft Azure is used for that. The next is software as an application. The example here is Salesforce. You don't have to maintain any of the resources there. You just have to provide them the things you need the service for, and the software will have predefined functions to do the work for you, and you don't have to maintain that. The organization will be responsible for maintaining your data there. The next topic is cloud computing deployment models. So if we move on to this, first we'll see public cloud, where everything is built on the cloud service provider. So starting from the data to the relational databases that are present, to all the networking protocols to be used, everything is defined on the cloud service provider. For example, AWS provides you an opportunity to completely design, not exactly design, but deploy your model there, and it's also known as cloud native or cloud first. So if you see this diagram, a public subnet is there with a database in RDS, that is relational database, and the internet is connected to the public subnet, and EC2 is used for computing that, and AWS compiles all of this. Next we move on to private cloud, where everything is built on the company's data center. So a company will have data centers having servers with them, and everything is built on that. So this is also known as on-premise, and the cloud could be OpenStack. So this provides high security, and it is used for strict regulatory compliances. So when the company's data centers are used, they come under the control of the company directly, so you don't have to worry about the security here. And mostly government sectors are the one that use private cloud. They don't want to expose the government data to other companies, so that is why they use private cloud. And you can check the diagram here. On-premise data center, company has its own physical servers and infrastructure. The next we move on to hybrid, where hybrid uses both on-premise and a cloud service provider. The on-premise data center and the AWS cloud service provider both are linked through virtual private network connection, VPN. So this is all for the first video, and if there are any points that I've missed out, or if there are any points which are wrong that I've said, I will be grateful for those who will comment on that, and thank you so much.